Today, I am going to break down what's involved in buying land to build on. I think there is this misconception out there that it is just as simple as buying a piece of land and then building a house on it. But there is so much more involved than that. I am Bethany Wernchus, real estate agent with Addison Jones, and you are watching Tuesday Talks with Bethany, where I answer real estate FAQs. As a buyer, there is much to look into to make sure that you can utilize the land in the way that you want to. So today I am going to go through a list of questions that you probably want to investigate when you are purchasing a piece of land to make sure that you can do what you want to do with it. So first of all, is the land in any government programs, or is it a part of the use value system? So is it a part of farmland preservation or managed forest land or the conservation reserve program? And the reason it's important to find out if it's in a government program is, can you even build on it while it's in this government program? Are you able to get it out of this government program? And if you are able to get it out of this government program, is there going to be a penalty that you have to pay? Because typically there is. So you are going to have to be fronting money to take it out of this government program so you can use the land in the way that you want to use it. What about the use value system? What is that? The use value system is a way that land is taxed differently. So farmland is taxed at a cheaper rate than if it was something else. So say, for example, you're buying a piece of farmland that was taxed with the use value system, and now you are going to build a subdivision there. Well, it is a penalty per acre to take it out of that use value system because it's no longer going to be farmland. It's now going to be a subdivision. It will be taxed differently, and there will be that penalty per acre. So this flows nicely into zoning. It's important to make sure that you can do what you want, that the zoning allows you to do what you want. So say, for example, you want to build a house. Is it zoned residential, or are you going to need to do rezoning or a conditional use permit or a special use permit or something like that? And also think about shoreline zoning. What if you are buying a lot on a lake, and there's going to be more restrictions with shoreline zoning of how you can build, where you can build. You can't just necessarily buy a piece of land on a lake and plop your house down wherever you want on it. There are restrictions with shoreline zoning in the DNR, and there may even be further restrictions with restrictive covenants for a neighborhood. So that can be with a lake property, or that can be with a property in a subdivision. So if you are buying a lot in a subdivision, is there a specific builder that's required to build that house? Or can you use any builder you want? Does the home have to be a certain square footage? Does the facade have to have 50% brick on it? Can you or can you not build a shed? Those are things that restrictive covenants control, and you need to look into them to make sure that you can build what you actually want to build. What about subsoils? Do the subsoils support a structure? You don't want to just build a property and then you are going to have issues structurally. So that's why it's important to check the subsoils to make sure that the subsoils can support the structure. Are you buying a rural property, and does that rural property perk? If you're going to need a septic system, are you going to need a conventional system or a mound system? Can you even put it there? Where can you put it on the lot? It's important to look into those things. What about easements? Are there any easements running through the land? Can Joe Schmo drive through your property to get to his hunting land? Or can your neighbor across the street walk through your land to get to the lake? Can anyone come through your property to get to another destination? Are there any approvals or permits that you need from the town or the city or the village? What about the utilities? Where are they located? Are they at the lot line, which may be more common in the city where you just have to hook up to the utilities, but you still have to pay to hook up to the utilities? Or are you out in the country where the utilities are a mile or 5 miles down, and now you need to pay to bring those utilities out to you and hook up to them? So that can get extensive in what it costs. You need to look into that. What about legal vehicular access? Can you access your property with a vehicle? Can you put a driveway into it? Has a survey been done? Now, if you're buying a lot in a subdivision, it's probably platted and there's a map. But what if you're buying 35 acres out in the country? Has it been surveyed? Why is that important? You're going to want to know what your property lines are, so you don't just buy the land and then find out it's 30 acres and not 35 acres. So that's why you have a survey, or to make sure that there are no property disputes down the line. You've already done that survey and figured it out. So when you are buying a big plot of land in the country, a survey is important. What about the floodplain or wetlands? Why is it important to look into this? Well, if it's in the floodplain or a wetland, you may not be able to build at all. So that's the last thing you want to do, is buy a piece of land and find out that you can't even build on it. So looking into that for that reason. Also, it may dictate how you build on the land or where you build on the land, or if there are certain things you have to do to be able to build there. So it's important to look into floodplain and wetland. So when you go out and buy a lot, you can either buy it now and build later, or you can do it all in one loan. But I just wanted to do this video today because, like I said, I think there is a misconception that is just as simple as buying a piece of land and building a house on it. And I just want you to know that buying land is not just as simple as buying land. So you as a buyer have the responsibility to look into these things and to make sure that the land is going to work for you. So all these things that I just talked about today, those are things that you can put as contingencies into your offer and check into those things. It is important, buyer, that you do your due diligence when you are purchasing a piece of land, so you don't close on the land and then find out that you can't build what you wanted to build because you didn't do your due diligence. So this is just reminding you to look into what you need to look into to make sure that you can utilize the land in the way that you want to. So hopefully this was helpful to you if you are considering purchasing land, building, anything like that. So the next time I will be going live will be in April, and in April I am going to be going through some seller freebies, talking about prepping your home for sale, and how to show your home in the best light. So I will see you then, and thank you for joining me.